as usual, the biggest stories of the day on this show. Viewers, our first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, was such a modernist that when India won freedom, he chose to address the nation in English. Indeed, he could have picked any number of great Indian languages to utter the most epical words a liberated people that are proud of their culture could ever hope to hear in their lifetimes. But no, viewers, he chose English. There's no doubt that Nehru's Tryst with Destiny speech was the most evocative and inspiring bit of speech making. But how much sense would it have made to the masses of India that had no access to the English language is anyone's guess. The only people who were left perhaps comprehending its sweep were the Lutyens set. It's not surprising, it's not at all surprising then that a senior leader of the Congress party harbors disdain for saffron, a civilizational symbol of India's, of Bharat's Shakti. The color is one of four that adorns the national flag. In his zeal to uphold Nehru's modernism, ex-Congress MP, yes viewers, believe it or not, Hussain Dalwai, chose to mock Yogi Adityanath for wearing traditional saffron robes at an investors summit. Now I know that a lot of you might think that Yogi Adityanath is some sort of a anachronism, that he is wearing religious colors when he holds an executive office. Viewers, there are many, of course, who have been traditionally turned out when they have held office. Many who have sported their religious colors or symbols when in office. But, viewers, listen in first to Mr. Dalwai. Listen in to how he, in his very elite manner, suggests that saffron, he doesn't focus on the religious aspect at all, that the color saffron is so retrograde, is so conveying of regression, that business that is progressive and businessmen that are progressive will not be attracted to the personage of Yogi Adityanath or his appeal for investing in Uttar Pradesh. Listen in, viewers, yourself to this.
त्यासाठी रोज काही धर्माच्या आणि ह्याच्या गोष्टी करण्याऐवजी आणि भगवे कपडे घालून फिरण्याऐवजी जरा मॉडर्न व्हा.
Be modern. Get rid of your saffron robes. Clearly, Mr. Dalwai believes that elements of Bharatiya culture are a liability for the nation. Has he forgotten Mahatma Gandhi, who wore vestments that were totally at odds with the Western outlook and celebrated the richness of Swadeshi? Clearly, Dalwai and the Congress that has so far not distanced itself from Dalwai's saffron phobia believes that great Indian icons like Swami Vivekananda are also retrograde. Didn't, after all, the great Swami wear saffron robes? In fact, Swami Vivekananda, who wore his cultural identity on his personage, clad in saffron robes, electrified the world. In Chicago in 1893, just look at those pictures of Swami Vivekananda. Let's, Sharif Bhai, show them to the world. That is Swami Vivekananda. And if we just dig on YouTube, we will be able to even find those visuals of him addressing that august gathering, that parliament of religions, viewers, in 1893. He was addressing a totally English-speaking audience, or perhaps a largely, let me just put it, non-Indian languages speaking audience. Swamiji emerged as the greatest ambassador for India's culture. His words stirred the youth, not just of this country, but of the world. And the youth, viewers, are always open to progressiveness. So clearly, they embraced the Swami as an icon of progressiveness. Till date, his words so energized the youth that National Youth Day is held to commemorate his ideas annually. Saffron clothes don't make a person's ideas regressive. The Congress party should realize that. And so-called modern Western clothes don't make people who wear them progressive. Consider the example of Rajiv Gandhi, who reversed the Supreme Court's progressive and reformist judgment on Shah Bano, and then even moved to clandestinely limit the ambit of free speech in this country, which is a liberal, progressive, modern idea. Viewers, this is the Congress party and its Lutyens' mindset. And nothing more exemplifies it than Dalwai's condemn-worthy, entitled, and most importantly, derisive, looking down upon Bhartiyata. Naturally, smarting from the jibe, the BJP has fired a massive broadside. Listen into some of those comments.
Time and again, Hindu आस्था का करो अपमान ताकि चले वोट बैंक की दुकान. This is the same Congress party which said Hindu terror, saffron terror, Hindutva is like ISIS, Gita ji mein jihad hai. Rahul Gandhi must tell us, because he claims to be a Janyudhari Hindu, does he stand with these anti-Hindu comments of Hussain Dalwai, or will the Congress party take action on Hussain Dalwai and sack him?
क्या ये बयान देश के साधु संतों का, भगवा पहनने वाले हमारे पूजनीय वंदनीय संतों का अपमान नहीं है? कांग्रेस दल और उनके नेताओं को क्या हो गया है? भगवे रंग से इन्हें क्या आपत्ति है? चुनाव समीप आते हैं, उन्हें हिंदू धर्म की याद आती है, और चुनाव निकल जाते हैं, उनका असली हिंदू विरोधी चेहरा देश के सामने आता है।
तो कांग्रेस के जो नेता दलवाई हैं, ये पहले अपने वेशभूषा के बारे में ध्यान देना चाहिए। जो टोपी लगाते हैं, बाकी जो इनका वस्त्र है, जो पैजामा ऊपर करके पहनते हैं, उनको जो है भगवा के बारे में बोलने का कोई अधिकार, राइट नहीं है, खासकर हमारे प्रिय मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ जी के लिए। इसका मैं घोर विरोध करता हूं और निंदा करता हूं।
Now viewers, it's not just the BJP that has taken up cudgels on behalf of those that patronize saffron, but several members of the public. And at the receiving end of the blowback, Congress is now trying to distance itself, but has not yet, till now, condemned Dalwai's elitist Lutyens mentality. Just watch. We tried to put a microphone to some of the Congress leaders, and they were just not forthcoming. Watch this.
हुसैन दलवाई मेरे साथ राज्यसभा में सदस्य रह चुके हैं और बोल लेते हैं। मैं हमेशा जो बोलते हैं गंभीरता से नहीं लेता हूँ।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार ने अगर कानून व्यवस्था, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, सड़क, पानी, बिजली सही करी होती तो उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री को निवेश के लिए दर दर नहीं भटकना होता और ऑस्टिन जैसी फ्रॉड यूनिवर्सिटियों से एमओयू नहीं साइन करने पड़ते।
There you go, viewers. But let me tell you, despite his saffron vestments, Uttar Pradesh has been able to attract investment. Invest India government website states that it's the #1 state in India's smart city mission. Good Governance Index of 2021 suggests that #1 in commerce and industries. Viewers, it's a leader in state startup ranking 2021. This is startupindia.govern.in. UP has received over 1,88,000 crore investments since 2018. These are all hard facts, verifiable. Just go to all these websites, look them up. This is the Infra and Industrial Development Commissioner putting this out. Investment proposals worth 7,12,288 crores from 16 countries. This has been put out by the UP government. Surely they wouldn't be lying to the tax-paying public, viewers. And this, therefore, brings me to ask some basic questions tonight. And let me begin first with Tehseen Poonawala, Congress Party sympathizer, a key member of the entire ecosystem that supports the Congress Party. Now, Tehseen Poonawala, the national symbol, the national flag, sports saffron, is our tricolour a living symbol of regression? Mr. Poonawala.
Absolutely not. It's a symbol of our sacrifice, which the BJP and the political forefathers were not involved with. It's a tricolour has been called evil by the political forefathers of Adityanath ji, and they said that this tricolour should not be acceptable. But for me, the tricolour means everything. It's in my blood. It's in my veins.
So as Hussain Dalwai, where he equates Bharat's symbol of Shakti, one of the colours that adorn the tricolour, to a liability. Do you think he's right? And do you think the congressman today, including the chief spokesperson and the head of the media cell of the Congress Party that delights in going after the media and being pejorative, which is in any case a regressive mindset, because it suggests there is anti-free speech, do you think by not condemning him, the Congress is subscribing to this outlook? It's a very simple question, Mr. Poonawala. Give me an honest answer tonight. Why would they not be condemning Hussain Dalwai for equating saffron with regression, with an outdated...
Because I think Jairam Ramesh ji said it extremely articulately, articulated it very well.
Right.
He said that don't take it seriously, and I don't think Hussain Dalwai should be taken seriously. That he merits an entire conversation what's happening in our country over a statement he perhaps made. But I agree with one part that you said, that Congress needs to get its foot out of the mouth. It cannot keep scoring self-votes. There are many reasons why.
So do all the useless people like carbuncles grace the Congress Party, and they are tolerated? Why have barnacles? Why have barnacles sticking to a ship that is already leaky? I mean, it makes no sense to me. Tehseen Poonawala, tell me, why would you even continue with this joke and not turn around and say, Mr. Hussain Dalwai, you have been completely out of line?
Well, like I said, there is much to criticize Adityanath ji for his views on homosexuality, which he thinks is criminal, for his views on women empowerment.
How does that relate to...
May I just make my point?
So 1 second. So you're saying you can... Yes, sir. Please criticize the individual, but not saffron.
No, I'm criticizing and I'm explaining something to you. Adityanath ji has said this, that women cannot be left alone, and if their energy is not channelized properly, it can turn unriddled energy, can cause
So is he
damage.
saying this because he wears saffron?
Sir, you have to allow me I hear you. It has to be a conversation. If you keep interrupting me, I can't say that. And I want your viewers to know what this man who claims to be a saint, because I don't think he's a saint, has done. If any of us, honestly on this panel, whether from the BJP, the Congress, or you yourself, Rahul, were on a stage where a colleague of yours and a colleague of Adityanath ji made a statement that dead women of bodies should be removed and should be treated brutally, all of us would have got up and objected. As a member of parliament, he entertained that. You call that man being saintly?
Mr. Poonawala,
you call that man being saintly?
I have said so that I have not... One second, please listen to me. Mr. Poonawala.
Hate speeches against him.
No, 1 second.
Charges against him. No,
Mr. Poonawala.
And I want your viewers to hear one.
Listen to me,
this man,
please.
The Honorable Chief Minister, has hate speeches and riot charges against him. And the Honorable Supreme Court had to step in and say these charges cannot be dropped when he, as Chief Minister, wanted to drop charges against him. He said homosexuality is a crime and must be punished. This man is not saintly. Yes, he may be wearing clothes which we all respect. And that statement by Hussain Dalwai should not have been made. There is much to criticize Adityanath ji.
So one second.
Say that, listen, he's a saint is unacceptable.
So one
Saints
second.
don't make the statements he made, just like Pragya Thakur does not make the statements.
Okay,
that he
Tehseen
made.
Poonawalla.
And I'll tell you one more thing, Rahul.
Okay,
and
no,
I'll
one
tell you
second. Now
more
I've
thing.
listened to you
I'll tell
for
one
the
more
last
thing.
7 minutes. Now listen to me.
I'll tell you one
One
more
second.
thing.
No, one
This
second. One
box-
second, please.
box-
Don't force me into lowering people's failures. I don't like it.
I don't want
Please,
to.
just listen. You've gone off on a tangent. You're entitled to. Stand on the
Tell me where I'm
soapbox.
factually wrong.
Stand on the soapbox. Take your bhapu and go for it. But maintain a certain degree of decorum. I'm asking you a simple question. All this might be true. I've even criticized Mr. Yogi Adityanath in the past for saying things which were completely peculiar. References to saffron have cropped up. Digvijay Singh, September 2019, wearing saffron, people have committed rape. Wearing saffron. People can commit rape wearing anything. Think about that, Tehseen Poonawalla. Why only
Can I
saffron?
answer that?
Let me say one
Can I
second.
answer
P.
that?
Chidambaram, ex-Home Minister, August 2010. At that time he was. Saffron terror implicated in many blasts. On one side you say terror has no religion. But here, saffron terror is prefixed. It's interesting. I don't understand. Hussain Dalwai, of course, says, shun saffron, embrace the modern. So obviously there's a problem.
Can I just make one statement?
No, it's okay. Let me bring in
For
Dr.
Digvijay Singh? Allow me to make
No,
one
I don't-
statement. Just
sir,
one
we've
statement
gone around
for
this.
Digvijay Singh.
We've gone around
No,
this
you don't have
bush.
to fold your hands. We can have a decent
We've
conversation
gone
without
around
folding
this
hands.
bush several times. I know what you're going to say. The viewer also knows. He's tired of listening to it. Let me bring in Dr. Ranganathan. Let's have a conversation then. If you really want to, let's open it up to another point of view also. Perhaps another point of view. Dr. Ranganathan, what do you make of this comment? What do you make of the responses? What do you make of the Congress's inability to condemn Mr. Dalwai? What does it tell you?
Good evening, Rahul. Much as my good friend Tehseen would like you and others to believe, this is not happening in isolation. That is why you need to give me 2.5 minutes, because I need to expose this whole agenda. Because the Congress has a history of acute Hindu phobia and Hindu misia. Many of its leaders not only mock Yogi Adityanath wearing saffron, they deliberately call Yogi Adityanath as Ajay Besht, name that he renounced after he became a yogi in accordance with his Mutt and the Nath sect. But they never call the evangelist Mother Teresa by her real name of Anjes Gonjes Bojahu, do they? And this is just the tip of the iceberg. That is why I want to expose them. Remember the statement by Congress leader Jarkhi Holi that Hindu has a dirty meaning and Indians would be ashamed of it. And who did Rahul Gandhi meet, by the way, recently on his Bharat Jodo Yatra? Yes, the virulently anti-Hindu pastor George Punaiya, who told him Jesus is the real God, not Shakti. Then there is Shivraj Patil, who claimed Lord Krishna taught jihad to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. Recall how Mahila Congress leader Lavanya Balal made a horrible Gaumutra jibe, same as the Pulwama bomber. And then an alleged post by the Congress youth wing leader Shaukat Ali called Hinduism a terrorist religion, quote unquote. Recently, a Goa Congress leader Jalmi termed Hindu god Parasuram a terrorist and a rapist. Congress mouthpiece National Herald routinely publishes Hindu-phobic articles, including one where it said Hindu epics were replete with misogyny and Me Too instances. Remember, Congress leaders and Congress party itself celebrates Tipu Jayanti, despite knowing he demolished hundreds of temples and converted and butchered lakhs of Hindus. And who can forget that the phrase saffron terror was coined by the Congress and that it wanted to pass the communal violence bill, where only the majority, that is Hindus, would be held guilty in a communal riot. Remember how the Congress blamed the Hindu RSS for 26/11 terror attack? Had Kasab not been caught alive, it is beyond doubt that the Congress would have fortified this theory. Then there was the Congress dispensation in 2004 that asked a Hindu Doordarshan anchor not to display his Hindu sacred symbol Kalava. Remember how Congress leaders publicly butchered a calf just to mock Hindu sensibilities in Kerala? Recall how time and again the Congress derides and insults and denigrates Hindutva, despite the fact that, quote, Hindutva means the Indian culture and not merely the Hindu religion, unquote. This was the famous conclusion of the Supreme Court back in 1995. And on the other hand, how many instances are there where the Congress has abused Islam or Islamic organizations? In fact, It demanded hanging of Kamlesh Tiwari for making a comment it considered Islamophobic, and its prominent leader fought against the banning of Simi. And remember how PM Manmohan Singh on the floor of our parliament demanded an apology from Denmark for profit cartoons. Remember how Sonia Gandhi apologized to the Shahi Imam for Jama Masjid for the same thing. So we have to look at this not in isolation but in totality. And what do we see? Rampant and acute Hindu phobia by the Congress.
You forgot something, Dr. Ranganathan. Maybe Digvijay Singh embraced Zakir Naik because he also wore a suit and tie.
Well,
And
Zakir Naik is
we
my
know,
guru, so I am partial to him.
And we know that Zakir Naik is known for very radical and regressive views.
But those are not Zakir Naik's views. I don't need to go into that.
Well, Dr. Akashdeep Muni, let me bring you in. The BJP national spokesperson is also here with us, or Uttar Pradesh spokesperson, Dr. Kaushal Kant Mishra. Let me bring in Dr. Muni first. Dr. Muni, if Bhagwa is backward, regressive, then will you accept that Swami Vivekananda was backward and regressive? Is concern over investment in Uttar Pradesh just an excuse for attacking saffron, the color, to score a few political points? Dr. Muni.
See, Rahul, first and foremost, I totally don't think that Bhagwa is regressive. I totally don't think that. And the statement made by the Dalwai ji is totally wrong and idiotic, I must say. But one thing I want to bring in, what my dear friend Dr. Ranganathan was saying. Of course, there is a pattern. You know, we have seen Mr. Bhagat of Uttarakhand BJP, who was saying what he said about Goddess Saraswati. We know that, don't we? We know that the BJP then Vice President Dayashankar ji, what he was saying about BSP Supremo. Wow, was that a Hindu statement? Was that equatable to a statement that has to be made? Now we are talking about Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda praised environment. Very nice, very good. But what happened in Uttar Pradesh? You know, the National Green Tribunal has to slap 120 crore fine on Uttar Pradesh government because they have sent 55 million liters of untreated sewage into water.
Dr. Saab, how is that
condition of women? What is the condition of Dalit women in Uttar Pradesh? We know that. So my point is that it is not about Hinduism. It is a stray statement made by Congress a person.
But Dr. Saab, I gave you 14 examples. 14 examples, Dr. Saab, please.
I can give you 40 examples of BJP.
I
can give you 40 examples of BJP, what they are saying about Hinduism. I can give you that. You know, do you agree with Dayashankar, what Dayashankar ji said about BSP Supremo? Sir?
What did he say? You did not disclose what he said. You did not disclose what he said, so I don't know. Then how do I know? Then how do I know? How can I criticize something I don't know?
Don't you know what BJP?
Okay, let me get the BJP in. Let Dr. Kaushal Mishra, many doctors again on our panel. Some are spin doctors, some believe in their craft. So, Dr. Mishra, please respond. Please respond to Dr. Muni and Tehseen Poonawala, who say that, look, the attack is not so much on saffron, but it is on, in fact, Yogi Adityanath, who wears saffron to legitimize himself.
राहुल, इसमें मुझे कुछ नया नहीं लग रहा है कांग्रेस पे, क्योंकि कांग्रेस की स्थापना करने वाले जो थे वो खुद ही वो ह्यूम थे, जो आप समझ सकते हैं कि भगवा के कितने अगेंस्ट थे, ठीक। और भगवा का विरोध करना, हिंदुत्व का विरोध करना कांग्रेस के डीएनए में है और वो हमेशा से करते चले आए हैं। और भगवा के बारे में आपने भी बताया कि जिस तरह से 11 सितंबर कांग्रेस का जब बर्थ नहीं हुआ था उसके पहले पैदा हुए स्वामी विवेकानंद जी ने 11 सितंबर 1893 में जाकर के पूरे भारत का प्रतिनिधित्व किया था उसी भगवा ड्रेस में, यूएसए में जाकर के, शिकागो में, और पूरा विश्व उस भाषण को आज भी सुनता है और याद करता है। और वो भगवा जो हमारे भारत की आत्मा है, परिधान है, परिवेश है और परिचय है, उसका रिप्रेजेंट करता है भगवा। और उस भगवा का अपमान करके भारतवर्ष का अपमान करना कांग्रेस की संस्कृति है। और भगवा के बारे में चंद लाइनें बोलना चाहूंगा। उगते सूरज की लालिमा भगवा, संध्या की सौम्यता भगवा, जौहर की ज्वाला भगवा, बसंत की छटा है भगवा, भगत सिंह की भक्ति भगवा, भारतवर्ष की शक्ति भगवा। और भगवा के ऊपर जिस तरीके से आक्रमण करने की कांग्रेस बार बार कोशिश करती है, ये वही कांग्रेस है जिसने भगवा आतंकवाद का शब्द गढ़ा। ये कांग्रेस के डीएनए में है। और
मिस्टर कुरैशी रिस्पॉन्डिंग,
इतिहास देख लीजिए, कांग्रेस ने हमेशा अरे तो इतनी देर से मैं चुप सुन रहा था सबको, मेरे को कंप्लीट करने दीजिए। मनमोहन सिंह जी, पहला आंखें देश पे, आप इस तरीके की बात करेंगे। और एक मिनट राहुल जी मैं बहुत देर से सुन रहा था, डॉक्टर मिश्रा कंप्लीट करने दीजिए। ये कपड़े की बात करते हैं, उनकी बात नहीं करते जो बड़े भाई का कुर्ता और छोटे भाई का पैजामा पहन के आते हैं, जालीदार टोपी लगा के आते हैं, हिजाब का विरोध नहीं करते हैं, हलाला का विरोध नहीं करते हैं, ट्रिपल तलाक का विरोध नहीं करते हैं।
डॉक्टर रंगनाथन, तहसीन पूनावाला, दानिश कुरैशी, यस, इन दैट ऑर्डर प्लीज। या
Thank you very much, Qureshi Saab. Thank you very much for allowing me 10 seconds. No, I listened to my good friend Dr. Mishra.
Should I speak first?
Rahul, no. Dr. रंगनाथन को 10 सेकंड दे दीजिए, उसके बाद मैं आपके पास आ रहा हूँ। चंद,
Thank you.
10 seconds, yes.
ठीक,
Thank you.
no issue. No issue.
Thank you. डॉक्टर कौशल मिश्रा की बात मैंने सुनी। उन्होंने कहा कि कांग्रेस के लोगों ने सैफरन टेरर वर्ड कॉइन किया। मैं इनसे दो सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं। दो लोगों ने सैफरन टेरर कॉइन किया था और एक आदमी ने कहा था कि आरएसएस वाज बिहाइंड द 26/11 अटैक। वो दोनों आज बीजेपी में हैं। आप उनके बारे में क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
इसका जवाब रंगनाथन जी ये है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की विचारधारा अगर राहुल गांधी भी एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं तो राहुल गांधी को भी हम अपने अंदर रख लेंगे। बात विचारधारा की है। बात हमारे यहाँ मनभेद नहीं हो सकता।
तो जब वो बीजेपी में आ गए तो उनकी विचारधारा बदल गई।
एक्सेप्ट कर लेता है, कोई भी एक्सेप्ट कर लेता है, वो बीजेपी में बीजेपी की आइडियोलॉजी फॉलो करे, उसका बीजेपी में स्वागत है।
जो लोग
बीजेपी की
भगवा का इतना आदर करते हैं,
राष्ट्रवाद और राष्ट्रवाद।
अच्छा डॉक्टर साहब, जो लोग इतना भगवा का रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं, आदर करते हैं, फिर उन्होंने आई थिंक यू आर रिफरिंग डॉक्टर रंगनाथन टू कृपा शंकर जी. Why have you taken him into your party, etc., etc.? That's a moot question.
Mr. Singh.
And Mr. Singh. That's okay. Let me bring in Danish Qureshi. Danish Qureshi, yes. Danish Qureshi.
Pull out a lie that the BJP.
Yeah, I'll come to you. Let Danish Qureshi and Sridhar Saab have their point, and then I'll come to you. Don't worry. You'll have the last word.
मिश्रा जी सुनिए,
You'll have the last word.
बैठिएगा और मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि आप बीच में इंटरप्ट नहीं करेंगे। कौशल कांत जी सुनिए, दिल थाम के बैठिएगा। आपने जो अभी बड़ी बड़ी बातें कही है ना भगवा के सम्मान की, मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी की अभी हवा निकाल दूंगा। ये फोटो है स्वामी अग्निवेश का भगवे कपड़ों में युवाओं ने। आपको पता है इस पूरे मामले में झारखंड ने उस वक्त संज्ञान नहीं लिया था, मैटर सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक गया था। तो आप मुझे यह बता दीजिए कि योगी जी ने जो भगवा पहना है और अग्निवेश जी ने जो भगवा पहना था, इसमें कोई फर्क है?
कुरैशी साहब, आई थिंक यू मिस दिस इंटायर 1 मिनट। आप लॉजिक की डिबेट का नहीं समझे। यू शुड नॉट इक्वेट क्लोथ्स विथ एनी एट्रीब्यूट्स। आप गलत समझ रहे हैं। अगर आप मॉडर्न सूट बूट पहन के नहीं, अगर आप सूट बूट पहन के नहीं, मेरी बात सुनिए कुरैशी साहब, आप डिबेट समझे ही नहीं। आप यू हैव बीन सो कंज्यूम्ड
नहीं बोलिए
by you have not understood the debate. We have started by saying don't equate the color or the vestments of any individual, the color of his vestments or his vestments, to any attributes. You can't say just because someone wears bhagwa they are regressive, or someone who wears a suit boot is progressive. Don't judge a person by his clothes, Danish Qureshi. That's the point. We are not getting into who's wearing bhagwa and what that makes them.
I got you, Rahul.
No, if you got me, you won't be asking this silly question.
My question to
Okay, now 1 second.
Ji,
Dushyanth
that
Sridhar,
if
please.
anybody has made a remark
Mr. Sridhar,
on the Yogi Adityanath,
let me bring Mr. Sridhar into this.
What about the stand of
Mr. Sridhar, I want you to explain, as you always do with your great eloquence, what does bhagwa represent? What does saffron represent? And why we shouldn't consider it a liability like someone in the Congress has. And at least I commend Tehseen Poonawalla for saying that Mr. Dalwai has completely lost it. At least one should commend him for that. But Mr. Sridhar, give us an exposition.
Namaskaram, Rahul, and namaskaram to my fellow panelists. 3 words in the statement that I could make of the political person's statement. 1 is saffron. 2nd is the dress. And the 3rd word is modernity. Yes, saffron color has been sported by Adi Shankara, by Bhagavad Ramanuja, by Madhvacharya, by Vivekananda. And so saffron is a color that stands for Sannyas Ashramam, for the ashramam, the last of the ashramams that we celebrate in Hinduism as a sign of sacrifice. But one thing that I would like to make very clear, Rahul, that for a very long time, saffron is the only color that people associate with Hinduism in the last few years, which is not so. White is also the color of Hinduism. Green is also the color of Hinduism. Blue is also the color of Hinduism. We have Mahalakshmi coming with white color sari in the Adi Parva of Mahabharata. We have Meenakshi of Madurai, who's described as a green-hued goddess. We have blue, which is associated with Rama and Krishna as their hue. So every color belongs to Hinduism. 1. Second thing, saffron is the color of sacrifice. Second, with respect to the dress, forget about what we wear over the body, Rahul. In Hinduism, in Sanatana Dharma, body itself is a dress. This is a process where we have to shed the body, which is the dress, and then seek liberation. Why? Look at what is worn over the body. And third, modernity. When we talk about dress of Saudi Arabia gets investments, does he get that in suit and coat and tie? He wears his Arab clothes and gets all the investments. When we talk about the best of the modern clothes that are worn in the US of the A, is in the same country that was regressive in its thought, where it says that the woman doesn't have the right to terminate her pregnancy. So I believe that dress, clothes, and the color has nothing to do with the thoughts of a person, be it Mr. Yogi Adityanath, or be it Mr. Modi, or be it Rahul Gandhi. It is their thoughts, if they are regressive, which is to be condemned, and not the person, and especially his clothes.
Well, let's hope that better sense prevails, and what Mr. Sridhar has said is understood. There was an old maxim, clothes don't make a man. I'm going to change it, clothes don't make a person. Those words were used at a time when obviously it was PC to use words in just restricted to one gender. Clothes don't make a person. So stop targeting saffron to get to an individual. Criticize the individual as much as you want, but stop criticizing traditions, Bharat symbols, to make a point. Yes, Mr. Poonawalla, since you want to make a point, here's the last word to you. I know you won't allow Sridhar Saab to have the last word.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a lot of respect for Sridhar Saab, and he knows that, and I bow down to what he said. He said something that's very pertinent, and all of us must take very seriously. Just 2 very quick points. You know what shows what Hinduism or Indianness is all about is the ability to speak the truth. And on this national TV, the channel which is watched internationally, the BJP spokesperson comes and straight away lies. Oh, XYZ is the founder of Congress, and therefore he is his thoughts you can make out anti-Hindu. Whereas the founders of Congress were Dadabhai Naoroji, Surendranath Banerjee, Badruddin Taibji, Pirosha Mehta, W.C. Banerjee, Muralidhar Subramaniam Iyer, but you take only one name. That's the agenda of the BJP. The BJP is a party steeped in hypocrisy, who on the floor of parliament said that there is no evidence of Maa Sita, and they said, sir, if you have to
okay, 1 second. 1 second. हो गया बंद करो जी.
This is not how the debate works.
Lower everyone's faders. Let me tell you, viewers, whether it is suit boot or it is saffron robes, the Congress does tend to judge people by what they wear. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, Dr. Ranganathan? Have I got it wrong? Who came up with this word, suit boot ki sarkar? Who came up with the words saffron, and you know what the second word is?
No, and there is no doubt about that. And the fact is now everyone in Congress has started wearing white t-shirts. So obviously clothes maketh a man. And the person, I don't know why Tehseen is not wearing a white t-shirt. He should be. It's very cold. It's bitterly cold outside Tehseen.
Let's all wear polo t-shirts by Ralph Lauren. And that way we will all become modern, progressive. Well, on that light note, but unfortunate one, viewers, let me tell you, it's an unfortunate one. For very long, and I started with an example. Our first Prime Minister began one of the most momentous speeches that any Indian can hope to hear. Can you imagine on your independence, moment of independence, that day, in English? What does it tell you? What does that tell you? Think about it.
Messed with destiny.
Well, I don't know, sir. But it tells me that there was a profound disdain for Bhartiyata. And today we have to begin to embrace who we are, our culture, our civilization. 70 years after, 75 years after independence, viewers, we have to decolonize our minds. Anyhow, let's move on. Let's move on because